you know, as a part of Gyanalok lecture series, we used to focus on, since last 4 months, we have been focusing on different social issues prevalent in India. And basically, this is an initiative taken by Gyanalok in collaboration with Directorate of Distance and Continuing Education, Utkal University, Odisha, and the Department of Social Work is basically taking the lead. So today with us, Dr. Rambabu Botcha. Dr. Botcha is working as an assistant professor in Department of Social Work, Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Government of India. So before starting the lecture, I request Dr. Renuka Kumar. Dr. Renuka Kumar is basically working as the academic consultant, Department of Social Work, Utkal University, Directorate of Distance and Continuing Education. I request Madam to introduce our speaker, Dr. Rambabu Botcha, and after that we will continue our session. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Pradeep sir. Dear friends, a very good evening to all of you. I'm Dr. Renuka Kumar, Academic Consultant, Department of Social Work, Directorate of Distance and Continuing Education, Utkal University, Odisha. I welcome you all to the Gyanalok Saturday lecture series on social development issues and role of development professionals, jointly organized by Gyanalok Trust and Department of Social Work, DDCE, Utkal University, Odisha. Today we have with us an eminent speaker, Dr. Rambabu Botcha. Dr. Rambabu Botcha is currently working as an assistant professor in social work at the Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Sri Parambudur Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. He received his integrated MPhil and PhD from Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Dr. Rambabu is the recipient of Young Achievement Award in Social Work for his outstanding performance in improving the quality of life of people victimized by HIV/AIDS. He holds the life membership of National Association of Professional Social Workers in India. He has over 10 years of professional experience in the field of teaching, research, and professional field level social work practices. He has presented 30 research papers in various national and international seminars, conferences, which includes presentation of paper in 10 international conferences. The theme of his research work broadly covers the issues like youth affairs, social work, HIV/AIDS, social entrepreneurship, etc. Dr. Botcha has coordinated several training programs on youth development across the country. To his capacity, Dr. Botcha has organized half of a dozen of national seminars and conferences, including 3 national seminars conferences organized at RGNIYD. Dr. Botcha has published over 25 research articles in peer-reviewed journals of national and international repute and authored a book on social work education in India, Retrospect and Prospect, and co-authored a book on social casework, The Indian Perspective. He has also co-edited a book on youth development, Emerging Perspectives. Dr. Botcha has visited countries like Thailand, China, and Sri Lanka to attend seminars and deliver lectures, of which 2 were nominated officially by the Government of India. Out of his vast knowledge and experience, Dr. Rambabu Botcha will deliver today on Participatory Rapid Appraisal, Applications and Techniques. On behalf of Gyanalok Trust, Department of Social Work, DDC, Utkal University, and all participants present in today's lecture, I welcome our speaker, Dr. Rambabu Botcha, and request to address the audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Renika Madam, for a very detailed introduction about me, for your kind words and expressing all the credentials and competencies possessed by me. You have introduced to all your audience. And first and foremost thing, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude and gratification to Professor Ashutosh Pradhan who is like my teacher and working now with Himachal Central University, and who is the person connected me now today with your organization called Gyanalok Trust, located in Bhubaneswar. And whenever we connect with a bunch of social work professionals in any part of the world, it gives an immense pleasure in talking to all of you and also sharing some of the experiences and knowledge that we have gained from the renowned and the eminent teachers in India and also other parts of the world. So I would like to thank the Gyanalok Trust Bhubaneswar and also Dr. Shahu, who has been in touch with me for the last several months. Of course, due to some busy schedule, I was unable to deliver the talk, that is Saturday lecture series. But today we could make it. That is purely because of Dr. Shahu's continuous persuasion with me. But definitely I hope that I will do justice to the topic that was given for me. That is this community, rural rapid appraisal techniques and participatory rapid appraisal application and techniques. Can I proceed? Hope I am audible to everyone. And hello?
Yes, sir.
Renika madam?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So to begin with, I was given 1 hour time up to 7 o'clock. I will give the input about the particular topic called participatory rapid appraisal applications and techniques. And after that, I will invite questions, discussions, comments, and suggestions from the audience so that we can enrich further and also we can give additional input to the other participants of this today's Saturday's lecture series. And I would like to appreciate the organizing team for conducting this kind of lecture series on every Saturday evening from 6:30 to 8 o'clock, and which will also provide valuable inputs and bringing the resource persons and eminent speakers from various parts of the country. That is a noble initiative. Definitely, it is a very, very innovative idea that I can say. And I would like to congratulate all of you for taking up this initiative. And I am happy to know that this is the 14th lecture series with me. And when you are able to connect with people like Professor Ashutosh Pradhan, he will be giving a pool of resources and the young and talented energies to your trust. And I hope you will be able to utilize those resources from Professor Ashutosh. To begin with, I would like to cover up various aspects related to community mobilization, community participation, participatory rapid appraisal, and various techniques connected to this, and also various community organizations. When we talk about participatory rapid appraisal, it is closely connected with the community development, community mobilization, and needs and objectives of the community people in the society. And in order to understand and also fulfill the needs and address the problems of the community, we need to apply all these techniques of participatory rapid appraisal. So there, how the social work fraternity, not only in the state of Odisha or in Tamil Nadu or Himachal Pradesh, across the country and in all parts of the world, we use these participatory rapid appraisal or participatory rural appraisal we call. And there are various tools and techniques that we use in order to understand the problems and in order to understand, assess the needs of the people so that we shall be able to provide a robust solutions with an effective interventions. So to begin with, when a problem impacts an entire community, addressing it requires the whole community. So when some problems are troubling a particular community, it is the responsibility that addressing it requires the whole community. That is how always we believe in social work profession and in also other developmental professional programs which we talk. Without participation from the people, it will be very, very difficult to solve any kind of problems in the society. When every part of the society works together, change can happen automatically. Nobody can stop that change, the transformation, bringing positive impact. And all these things are very much and possible when we bring the people together, when we bring various stakeholders together, and when we work together with various entities. And this is possible only through community mobilization and community participation. That community mobilization and community participation is possible through participatory rapid appraisal. and by using the techniques, by applying the techniques. The today's topic that we are talking is participatory rapid appraisal and techniques and applications. How we can apply and what are all various techniques that we can use to understand the issues and problems of the rural people. And M.G. Ross, all professional social workers know the definition given by M.G. Ross about community organization and process by which a community identifies its needs or objectives, gives priority to them, and develops confidence and will to work at them, finds resources both internal and external, and to deal with them, and in doing so, extends and develops cooperative and collaborative attitudes and practices in the community. So in order to achieve the objectives and understand the needs and solve the problems in a community, it is very much needed to build the confidence and also willpower to work with them and finds resources. Bridging the gap between needs and resources is all about community organizations we talk. So that should be kept in our mind when we talk about this participatory rapid appraisal. Why community mobilization we always talk? The community mobilization is the process of bringing together as many as stakeholders possible to raise people's awareness of and demand for a particular program. We need to bring various stakeholders. That's why we call social work profession is a challenging profession, at the same time satisfying profession, and at the same time we enter into the pains of the people. We can understand the needs of the people. We can find out the problems of the people, and also we can provide the solutions to the problems of the people. And the community mobilization play a vital and critical role in the community development. And this particular gathering of various stakeholders together to assist in the delivery of resources and services, and to strengthen community participation for sustainable and self-reliance. Now we started talking about the sustainability, self-reliance and all. Social work profession in India for the last 90 years, almost 9 decades, we are going to complete by 2026. All of us know that in 1936, with the establishment of Sir Dorabji Tata Graduate School of Social Work, we started in Mumbai, and after that Delhi University School of Social Work and other places. Now we are offering from 2016 in Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, and our professor is working in Himachal, Mizoram, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, every part of the country. Now we are having social work programs.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Excuse me, sir. Actually, your slide is not moving.
Oh, it's not moving.
No, it is not moving. No.
In which slide I am now? There.
You are in the first slide only.
I reached to 5th or 6th slide. Now is it moving?
No, just now I checked that, so that I thought no, you are moving forward, but your slide is not moving.
Now is it moving now, Dr. Shah?
Yes. Now it is moving, but although not in full screen, but still moving.
The problem is when we are able to make it full screen, it is not moving. Can I proceed like this?
One thing you can do. Can you squeeze the left hand side is the slide view? You make it a little smaller, and also your simply you control F1. You just push control F1 so that your menu bar will be also hidden. So the slide will be little larger, and all can see it.
Acha. So I think this is the better way. I can move like this.
Okay, no problem. You just.
Yeah. So now we are talking about. So I spoke about community organization. Yeah. Can I proceed, Dr. Shahu?
Yeah, sir. No problem.
Yeah. So I just talked about community organization and the definition given by Murezi Ross. And also I talked about the bringing various stakeholders for community mobilization for effective development and effective providing solutions effectively to the people. And nowadays we are very much talking about sustainability and self-reliance. For social work profession has been working towards sustainability and self-reliance for the last 9 decades in our country. I was just giving a brief introduction about it. So what are some of the benefits or advantages of community mobilization? Effective problem solving, better representation of voices. When you mobilize various stakeholders to solve the problems in the society, you will be able to understand the root causes of a particular problem in a better manner. And accountability, whatever they are telling us and whatever they are able to represent to us, and there will be an accountability both the sides, and encourages participation and involvement. Without people's participation, there is no social work. Without people's participation, there is no scope for providing solutions to the problems in the society. Without their involvement, we cannot ensure sustainability, we cannot monitor, and we cannot evaluate, and we cannot understand the effectiveness of our own interventions. And building community capacity, it's the ultimate objective of community mobilization and participatory rapid appraisal. And sustainability and long-term commitment, that is something very, very important. We always believe in our philosophy that if you give food for one day, they will be able to survive only for one day. If we train them to get food every day, then they will survive throughout their life. So this is how we are moving. And I have also planned to provide, give some activities to every participant, but I am skipping now. At the end of the session, I will ask. So these are all various stakeholders, what we talk about, talking from the members of the committee, the primary stakeholders, independent activists, every hamlet, every village or every block or taluk, we will have some kind of social activists who are promoting welfare of the people, who are fighting for the development of the people, just like Medha Patkar, Anna Hazare, Rajendra Singh ji, and all these people. And also, of course, we are very much closely connected with non-governmental organizations, faith-based organizations, community-based organizations, and also government organizations. This is what we call NGOs, FBOs, COs, and GOs. And health professionals, we have healthcare professionals, you have ASHA workers, you have medical officers, and ANMs, and all these people. Business owners who can also contribute. When we were studying in the state of Andhra Pradesh, and there was some business owners who used to contribute, and we used to provide some resources to the HIV positive people in the same village. So we used to go there and request them that explaining the situation of these poor people. So they used to get some kind of funds, and we will be able to help these vulnerable sections in the society. And also the political leaders and the parties are also part of the stakeholdering, the community. So they also will be taking part, and they also will be able to understand the pains of the people. And it is the responsibility of the community organizer or community worker to involve and encourage these political parties to participate in this community mapping, community needs assessment, all such things. It should not be just like that and they cannot escape. And this is how community participation, the active involvement of people from communities preparing for and reacting to disasters, community participation is also the basis of successful health promotion and health education and hygiene education. Also, the health education is one of the important activity that is commonly undertaken to promote health. These are all part of the community participation and all. The active citizen involvement, strategic plan development, implementation of project and programs motivates people to work together, increase the standard of living, economic growth within the respective community. These are all the goals of developmental professionals, social work professionals, which we talk. If you want to involve them actively, then the community participation is very much needed. And also motivating the people to work together. The concept of self-help groups entered into our country with this particular motto that motivating the people, creating awareness, generating awareness, and empowering the marginalized sections and empowering women in various parts of the country. You can see the transformation of SSG initiative in the country, and now every woman in the country, and if not every woman, and 80% to 90% of the women, if more than that, are empowered like anything. They are able to do their work. They are able to do their transactions, financial transactions. They are able to take part in decision making, one of the important ingredients of women empowerment. They are not just sitting in one corner, and everyone is having equal rights. We are talking about gender equality, which is one of the sustainable development goals. Goal number 5 talks about gender equality. These are all very much possible with the community participation and involvement of social work profession. And moving forward, there are 7 levels of community participation. And these are the models of community organizations and the locality development model, social policy model, social action model. All of us know that with locality development, what we do a social policy and social action model. Social action, when we talk about social action, we need to work on the mass attack on the mass problems, social problems, which we have a lot of examples. Now come to the main point, the main topic of the day, participatory rapid appraisal. In order to come up with a quick solutions, in order to come up with a quick results, we use the participatory rapid appraisal. Appraisal meaning that the finding out of information about problems, needs, and potentials in a village. It is the first stage in any project. If you want to work with any village, if you want to work with any community, if you want to work with any kind of small hamlets and all, first and foremost thing, you need to come up with an assessment. You need to come up with an estimate. What is the exact situation of that particular village? What are the problems? What are the needs? What are the strengths? In social work, we talk about strengths-based approach or strengths-based methods. We are promoting it is one of the methods of social work. Professor Ashutosh knows that Professor Gracious Thomas is advocating that strengths-based practice is as one of the methods of social work. Now, when we talk about participatory rapid appraisal, we also should consider that the potential of the village and the problems of the village and needs of the village should be known. That is possible through participatory rapid appraisal or participatory rural appraisal. And participatory means that the people are involved in the process, a bottom-up approach that requires good communication skills and attitude of a project staff. So if we don't understand what do you mean by participatory rapid appraisal, we will not be able to understand the remaining techniques. If you are unable to follow me, then you need to stop and also you can get clarified. Then the participation, we need to understand. People are involved in the process from bottom-up approach that requires communication skills and attitude of project staff. And rapid, the techniques can be used in any situation, urban or rural or with both literate and illiterate people to collect the information quickly. About the needs, about the problems, about the strengths, about the weaknesses, about the opportunities, and about the challenges. All these you can process and you can understand what kind of services should be provided. What is the priority of this particular village? Whether when after completing the participatory rapid appraisal, that is PRA, you will be able to understand whether health is the priority, education is the priority, or health and or water and sanitation is the priority. If you have three important problems of a particular village, you want to provide education to that village, you want to take care of the health of that village, or you want to take care of the water and sanitation of that village. You will be very quickly and very easily you will be able to understand if you apply these techniques and if you understand the situation by using these PRA techniques. And when we talk about participatory rapid appraisal, it is a growing combination of approaches and methods that enable vulnerable people to share, enhance, and analyze their knowledge of their life and conditions, to plan and act, and to monitor and evaluate. These are multiple advantages are connected with the participatory rapid appraisal, and it is a combination of approaches and also methods. We use n number of techniques. We use so many kind of approaches with the PRA in the villages, knowingly, unknowingly, and systematically in the villages. Very recently, we went for a rural camp in one of the villages in Tamil Nadu, and the name of the village is Echur. So where there are mixture of people, there are educated, uneducated, literate, illiterate, women, and young people, young girls, young boys, adolescents, women, old age, elderly, all these kind of people are there, and we have conducted this PRA techniques. We used these PRA techniques to understand their problems, their needs, and their resources and all. It was quite interesting activity and quite interesting practice that we have done. And they will be able to understand where is the health center located, how far it is from the people belong to upper class, the people belong to lower class, they use these terminologies. And because we are little disadvantaged sections, we are away from the school, we are away from the health center, we are away from the ration shop. So these kind of things they are able to understand when we are able involving them in social mapping, resource mapping and all. This is you will be able to from the words of these vulnerable people, you will be able to understand that PRA will help us to do that. Some of the prerequisites for PRA includes participation, respect for community members, patience without rushing and interrupting, listening, not lecturing. Appropriate methods should be used at appropriate time. So that is something very, very important. We need to ensure the participation of the people. Without them, you will not be able to do anything. They should be able to tell us what are the exact problems and what are the root causes for this particular problem. Nowadays, this drug addiction and risk behavior of the young people and a lot of emerging problems are entering into the society. How we can, what are the root causes of these particular aspects? We have conducted one small study in the city of Chennai to understand the factors contributing for risk behavior among the young people in the society. So we got very interesting facts, but that there are some root causes and there are some peer influence, there are family background, location that they are staying in. So these are certain things that you can understand by ensuring this participation, respect for community members. Without establishing rapport with the community members, we shall not be able to move forward in social work profession. So that is something very, very important. We need to connect with local NGOs. We need to connect with the local people. And if you have some villages where you are working as an adopted village or a kind of social lab or all these things, then we need to have a proper relationship that is in social work, we call it as a rapport, professional relationship that is very, very important. And we also should have patience without rushing and interrupting. And in order to bring change, in order to bring positive impact in the society, we should proceed with the procedures. Then only we shall be able to do that. And we should learn to listen more than the lecturing. When you want to understand the problems, when you want to solve the problems, when you want to enter into the pains of the people, when you want to become a social doctor, then we need to listen to the people. That is one of the important skill and one of the prerequisite, rather than we lecture to those people who are in need, who are confronting with the problems. And appropriate methods that we use, particularly when we talk about the methods of social work. If you want to work with a group of people, we use group work, individuals case work, community organization. So wherever the method of social work is needed and required and appropriate, we use. So these are certain things that we should do. And these are some of the PRA techniques that we talk. First and foremost thing, transactional walk, transact walk, seasonal calendar, daily routine charts, structured interviews, timeline, semi-structured interviews, individual groups, key informants, focus group discussions, social mapping, and also resource mapping. So transact walk, when we observe, when we work with a group of people and you want to observe the community and you want to understand the community by kind of a walk through their villages, through their hamlets, through their lanes, then you will be able to understand what is their lifestyle, what kind of resources that are available, how these people are utilizing the resources, whether there is a wastage of drinking water at the water tap, and anybody is taking care of the what you can call these street lights, even at midday around 11:30, 12 noon also, nobody is turning off the lights, or properly around 6 a.m. morning they are able to turn it off. Only in the evening 6:30 they are turning on, and they are not wasting the water, not only drinking water and other water also. They are making their surroundings in front of their house very neat and clean, or they are throwing all the dust on the doorsteps of opposite house. So what are all these things you will be able to understand through transact walk. And also seasonal calendar we talk about. Seasonal calendar also will give us an information about what are the different seasons that they are experiencing and what are all the tasks that they are involved in different seasons. Daily routine chart from morning till evening, an individual what they are doing from morning till evening, and how many hours they are spending on their daily work, and how many hours they are spending for their family, and how many hours they are able to concentrate on other aspects and all. So these are the things that we can understand, in any other kind of engagements and involvement are also witnessed with this daily routine charts. Those things also can be understood. And structured interviews which we talk, and if we want specific information on any specific issue, you can administer this structured interview. In so many research studies we use this structured interview, so that if you want to understand the opinion of the people in that particular community, we should be able to come up with a structured interview with which we use that particular aspect. So the structured interviews will help us to come up with the quantitative information on a particular phenomena. So I was talking about a small example. If you want to understand the health facilities provided in a village, you can conduct a structured interview with a group of people, some 15, 20, 25 or 30 or 50, so that you will be able to know whether the healthcare professionals are visiting that village off and on, every day, rarely, and when the people are approaching the health center, what is the response and the treatment that is being provided. Now all these things you can understand, and you will be able to know that. And similarly, semi-structured interviews are there, and individual group key informants, focus group discussions, social maps and resource maps. Here, when we talk about key informants, one of the important stakeholders, these key informants are some religious leaders in your village, and some business people, some political people. All these are key informants. How do you feel about your villagers? And do you think that they are able to save some money from this earnings? Or do you think that they are able to provide some quality education to their children? Do you think that they are able to spend some quality time with their family members? And what are all the emerging needs? What do you give? What is the priority for your village development? What is your contribution for your village development? These kind of things that we can do in the participatory rapid appraisal under PRA key informants. Focus group discussions, all of you know, and this is how I also would like to elaborate on each aspects in the future slides. And this is how we can connect. And when we talk about PRA and other community development initiatives, so it helps us in understanding and assessing the needs. If you see my mouse point, you will be able to know need assessment is something very, very important to provide solutions to the problems. So the need assessment, this is called baseline survey or feasibility survey or whatever we call. If you don't understand the needs of my community, and you will not be able to provide a solution. So therefore, need assessment is something very, very important in particularly social work profession or developmental professionals. Wherever we work, first and foremost thing is need assessment. Even if you apply for some funding, and even if you apply for some projects and all, first and foremost thing they will ask for whether did you do the need assessment. So based on the assessment, we can move forward. Next step is talking about planning. How robustly you will plan, and now what are the strategies that you are using in your planning, and how you are going to proceed further, and all such things. What kind of activities you are going to do if you want to address a particular problem in a village related to education. There are so many dropouts in a village. There are parents are not interested to send their children to the school, and other people also are following that. Nowadays, the situation is something different, but earlier the literacy rate was 65.38 according to 2001 census, and 74.4 now in 2011 census. 2021 we are at to get. So this is how we are moving forward as far as the education is concerned. And also when we talk about sex ratio, now we are talking about gender inequality, we are talking about empowerment of disabled, disadvantaged sections, and empowering disabled sections, and lot of aspects that we are talking and working on it. And we are working on some other aspects, and some emerging problems are entering into the society. That is something different. So after need assessment, planning is very important, and then moving forward to the implementation of the planning, what we have planned, how systematically that plan can be implemented. Then only we shall be able to come up with a proper results and positive impact. In order to bring positive impact in the society, you need to have a very good plan, and you also should implement effectively. Then only we shall be able to do. It's not that just we assess the needs and after that we are keeping quiet. Should not be like that. Then monitoring, continuously checking in the our own technologies. Continuously we need to check what is happening about the implementation, and whether the interventions or the activities or the programs which we are implementing are effective or ineffective, moderately working or slightly working, or effectively working. So these things, if you want to know, then you need to monitor the programs and activities that you are doing. And finally, again, in evaluation, these are the objectives, and this is when you are planning, you wanted to achieve so and so, and you could not achieve so and so. You want to bring some 80% of the young people in the village from risk behavior. You could not do it. Only some 40-35% only you could bring out of risk behavior. So in the evaluation, you will be able to understand. Then you will come up with a different strategy and different planning for bringing change among those different other people also. So this is how we will be able to help community development initiatives and participatory rural appraisal. This social map is one of the important, perhaps most popular method in PRA. For many, in fact, it is synonymous with PRA itself. The focus here is on depiction of habitation patterns and the nature of housings and social infrastructure such as roads, drainage system, schools, drinking water facilities, etc. So the social map will make us to understand what are all the various infrastructure facilities that are available, and habitation patterns that are available in a particular village will be known by all of us if we involve in social mapping. And in social mapping, so these are all the things you will be able to understand where the school is, where the convent is, and where the other kind of facilities available, the bore well which we are talking about, and how many households are available in that particular village, and what is the profession of each village, and how many girls, how many boys, how many unmarried, married, and the elderly people enrolled for education, how many people are doing all these things. These are all related to social mapping, where we talk about this kind of infrastructure and all these things. Then there is another mapping called resource mapping. Resource mapping will tell us one of the most commonly used PRA methods next to social map. While the social map focuses on habitation, community facilities, roads, temples, etc., the resource map focuses on the natural resources in the locality and depicts the land, hill, rivers, fields, vegetations, etc. So this is where you will be able to understand how much land is possessed by that particular village and which land is useful for what kind of cropping. And these things you will be able to understand. What are the hill stations available? How many rivers are located in that village? And how many hectares of lands is available? These things you will be knowing from resource mapping, where the topography, forest, soil type, and land use, water bodies, and also water development activities and irrigation sources, rivers and drainages. This is how we can do the resource mapping. In the resource mapping, in the social mapping, you are able to understand the physical assets and the social assets and the infrastructure facilities of a particular village. Here you are able to understand the resources that are available, the landscape and lands that are available, and what is the scope and the slope and all these rivers surrounded by the lands and all such things you will be knowing. So based on that, the health, wealth, and everything you will be able to assess how many hectares of land is available, and this land is in the control of whom, how many households. If there are 100 families in a village and there are 1,000 acres of land surrounded by that village, how many families are possessing this 1,000 acres of land? Whether only 10 to 15 families are having, the remaining families are laborers, or how they are surviving, or this land is equally distributed among all the 100 families. That you will be knowing when you do resource mapping and going for in-depth analysis of this PRA tools and techniques. That's how we did in one of the villages. We got shocking information that majority of the land in that particular village in only 10% of the people. Remaining 90% of the families are just working under these 10 families. That is something inequality, distribution of resources. You will be knowing as a project team or a professional social workers, we will be knowing that there is a disequilibrium in the community development, and only one class or one set of people are owning all the resources in that particular village, and the remaining class of people are not able to have any kind of assets rather than continuing their life for generations as laborers. These are the things that we can understand from resource mapping. And you can also do this. My PPT will be shared with all of you, and community profile, resource mapping that you can do. The schools available, Anganwadi centers, Panchayat office, colleges, community center, health center, and characteristics of your community. Find out the important stakeholders in your community. This we have done. Identify common needs and problems related to health, education, employment, poverty, water, and sanitation. These things we can you can just try, and how you will be able to do. Since paucity of time, I am not asking you to do it now, and you can take a A4 sheet if available, chart paper, pen, pencil, sketch pens, etc. Note down the resources available in your community, in your village. Identify the problems and map the needs of your community. Find out required resources to meet the common needs and address the common problems. These are certain things that you can try. And then another kind of a technique that we use, apart from the other things, focus group discussion, which involves gathering people from similar backgrounds or experiences together to discuss a specific topic of interest. Say, for example, what is the health and hygiene practices of adolescent girls? We talk a lot about promoting gender equality and empowering women and empowering young girls and all these things. And what are their sanitation practices? Majority in Indian context, we see that particularly in the rural India, our adolescent girls, they don't use sanitary napkins properly. Either they use some clothes or they use something different materials and all, which is very much unhygienic and also leads to other health related problems. Now, every state government is coming forward to provide sanitary napkins. So if you can if you can sit with a group of mothers or a group of family heads, and how we can promote these particular practices among the adolescent girls. So that can be something interesting topic that we can do. And it is also a form of qualitative research where questions are asked about their perception, attitudes, beliefs, opinions, or ideas. We are not just giving lectures. We need to understand PRA techniques means it is listening from them. It is not lecturing from our side. So example is assessing the attitude of mothers of under 2 years children regarding exclusive breastfeeding. Nowadays, lot of media reports and lot of information that we are seeing about the breastfeeding or breast cancer and awareness generation about various aspects related to the mothers and all the such kind of things. Because of the globalization, we are living local and thinking global, and the world has become a small village. The lifestyles are being changed, and all these things affect on one another. there are advantages, disadvantages, and all these things. So now, when we talk about PRA techniques, and FGD also can be utilized as one of the important technique, and it can be applied. And the application of FGD has a lot of ingredients and lot of important aspects that we can do. That is something very, very important. And other techniques, interviews that I have told, question designing technique for individuals, households, and key informants, methods of cross-checking information from different sources, sampling techniques that can be adapted to a particular objective, methods of obtaining data in a short time frame, group interview techniques including focus group discussions, methods of direct observation at the side level, and also use secondary data sources. If you have some secondary data sources also, there is no problem in using that. For the last 10 years, what are all the practices of elderly in this particular village? What is the mortality rate? What is the mortality rate? And what is the child birth rate? And what is the sex ratio? You should be able to depend on some secondary data. And what are the deaths in a year, and what are the births in a year, and how many people are migrating from the village, and whether that is a permanent migration, seasonal migration, and what are all the different kind of migrations, that what are the purposes of these migrations, and all can be obtained through secondary. And also group interview techniques, we talk about FGD, and also sampling techniques also we can use, and cross-checking information and interview and questioning design. So these are all some of the other techniques that we can use as far as participatory rapid appraisal is concerned. And some dynamics that we need to understand in the community, and which are very, very important when we work with the community people, and particularly by using participatory rapid appraisal techniques, that is PRA. Community dynamics are the changes in community structures and composition over the time, and often following social, political, and economic developments that we need to understand. Participative group, and participative group is known by many names, including shared leadership, community empowerment, and community involvement, and all. And groupism is another important aspect that we should note. The tendency to think and act as member of a group is the concept which makes everyone to feel empathy, sympathy, and we feeling goal achievement. These are groupism that we see. And subgroups, who a group formed of a subset of members drawn from a larger parent group. So subgroups are also created. These are the dynamics. And also subgroups are not autonomous, though members of the parent group may choose to join a subgroup rather than be assigned. Membership in subgroup is ultimately controlled by the parent group, and it is its owner. And we talk about the community organization, child and youth development, youth influenced not only by families and schools, but by a wide variety of formal and informal community organizations, some of which involve youth directly, while others affect neighborhood changes that affect youth and families. These are certain things, and various community organizations that are available in the society. And first and foremost thing, we talk about self-help groups. The self-help groups are playing a significant role in transforming the lives of the women in the rural India, that we need to accept. And we also have seen the transformation and positive impact after initiating this SHG's concept in India. And particularly for social work trainees and social work professionals, we are continuously interacting with the group of women in every part of the country, that I can say. And self-help groups are informal groups of people who come together to address their common problems. This is called, the name itself depicts that self-help, I need to help myself. While self-help might imply a focus on the individual, one important characteristic of self-help groups is the idea of mutual support, people helping each other. I need to help the people in my group, and I need to enrich the people in my individuals in the group. And you may see the group work, one of the principles, starting with planned group formation, continuous individualization, utilization of resources, and all these are part and parcel of the self-help group concept. And also group work that we talk in social work, one of the primary methods of social work. And moving forward, youth groups being a faculty member in the Institute of National Importance working for youth development, I would like to talk about youth groups. So youth clubs are there to help young people understand the world around them, It is not that one can shape their own kind of career for moving forward. They are there to advise young people with their future, to talk about the past and even help them with the present. So we need to understand the present, we need to talk about the future, and we also should go back to the past. India is a fast growing economy, and there are more than 40 crores population. 40 crore population belong to the youth category. National Youth Policy 2014, National Youth Policy 2021 talks about the potential of the young people in the country, and they are the future of the nation. We talk about the potential of the youth is going to bring so much of transformation to the countries like India, and the whole world is looking at us because of the young population and the potential of the young people of that particular country, and we are going to become skill capital of the world. Our Prime Minister always talk about India is going to become skill capital of the world, and we are also now, yesterday and day before yesterday, our leader of the country is in the United States of America, and you can also follow the various media reports. So now our responsibility is to nurture and empower the young people of our locations and our states, so that they will contribute a lot. It is not gaining a job is not the task that we should do, and the young people should come forward and shoulder the responsibility, and they should empower more and more people with their talents and their competencies. They have enormous potential. There are so many media reports and studies says that young people in India having enormous potential, and they have so much of resilience, and they have so much of tolerance, and they have so much of skill sets. Only thing, we people like us, the educators, the practitioners in social work, we need to channelize the potential of these young people towards a positive engagement. That is what is something very, very important. So these are the things we talk, and various other action groups which we talk is another action group or task group is a group of people joined temporarily to accomplish some task, to take part in some organized collective action. So these are all called action groups. They will not be just like self-help groups, and they will not be just like youth clubs and all, but they will form themselves together, and they want to accomplish something temporarily, and they will again take care of their own tasks. This is how various organizations in the community that we see. And also farmers groups, we call it as a farmer clubs. If anybody is familiarized with NABARD related projects, any of the banks that are operating in the rural areas can organize the farmers clubs. All the clubs should have a saving account with the bank. The bank can be regional rural banks, cooperative banks, or commercial banks. Each of the farmers club can have a minimum of 10 members. So they can form as a group, and they can become a farmer club, and they can approach nearby banks and local banks so that they can get some financial assistance temporarily, and also they can repay that. And when we promote this kind of community organizations or community based organizations, there will be a kind of a self-help, mutual development, collective participation, collective responsibility, and collective growth and development of that particular group and the village. Lot of advantages are there when we promote self-help groups, when we promote youth clubs, and when we promote other community organizations like farmer clubs and all. All these things are outputs of participatory rapid appraisal, which we are talking. So the participatory rapid appraisal and various techniques and its application brings so much of change if we are seriously working on these applications. And it is also very, very important for social work professions. Whenever and wherever there is a possibility, we should learn about it, and we should apply it, and we should understand the effectiveness of PRA tools and techniques that we are using. With this, I will stop, and you can ask any questions if there are. Over to you, Dr. Shahu.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a nice presentation. And being a social worker like me and other participants of the lecture, I know it is really very important for them. Understanding participatory rapid appraisal, community organization, community mobilization, community development, all these things are very important for all of us. And for this, actually, understanding PRA is much essential. So thank you for, I know how much busy you are, since NAC committee is visiting. You are very busy, badly busy, and still you accepted our request and spare time with us and prepared such a beautiful presentation. Thank you so much for your nice deliberation. Now I request participant if they have anything to contribute or any doubt.
Yeah, please. I invite questions, suggestions, comments.
With us actually Miss Abha Misra. Miss Abha Misra, ma'am, is currently working as head of the office UNDP Odisha.
I pranam to you, madam.
Ma'am is there. Ma'am has vast experience in the field of disaster risk management and disaster mitigation.
Namaste, madam.
Time of emergency, ma'am, I request you to share actually how you connect the PRA at the time of emergency of disaster management. Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, please.
Namaskar and thank you. Yeah, no, Pradeep, I don't think so. I should speak as of now in this forum because sir has very well articulated, and I think the questions should be coming from the participants on the topic, which it is there already. Because if you take a sector and then start discussing, the whole dialogue will go into a different mode. So, but one of the challenges when you do a PRA, specifically, sir, happens, even in a disaster situation or a normal time also, is, how do you reconnect it at a broader level? It's very easy to do it at a hamlet level or a small level. But if you want to use that PRA and come up with the planning, what do you suggest should be the most important way of doing it? Because in a panchayat, as you rightly mentioned, there are a lot of vulnerabilities and vulnerable groups which are neglected and set separately. We can do a transit walk, we could do, small group discussions, we could do, many other things. But when it comes back to this, bringing it together and putting up a plan, what do you suggest should be the approach of the social worker who has to do that? Specifically, when we prepare the GPDB, Gram Panchayat Village Development Plans, and participatory methodology is the best to take it up. Your reflections.
Can I, madam? Thank you, Abha, madam. Very pertinent kind of a comment, and also madam is giving very clear input. And I would like to talk about how we can work in a village by using these PRA tools and techniques and its application. We always talk about establishing a positive rapport with the community. First and foremost thing, when we want to conduct this PRA in any village, we need to establish rapport, that is a professional relationship with various stakeholders in the particular communities. That is the first and foremost thing, madam. Then when we are able to connect with the local communities and other aspects related to this PRA will become easy. And when you talked about the next phase, how we will assess the problems and needs of the villages, those who are in need and those who are facing some specific problems. In 2012 or 13, I don't remember, we wanted to understand the needs and problems of HIV positives and their families in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Then we went to the communities these vulnerable sections and conducted this PRA. And by using all these techniques like small interviews, paid interviews, group interviews, or focus group discussions with the stakeholders of that particular community. And these are the things, lot of discrimination, so much of stigma, and their own family members are not accepting them, and their own social groups are excluding and isolating them. These are the problems, the deep rooted problems we have identified. And what are all the emerging and immediate needs? They need some kind of resources for their survival. They are not able to go for any work, and their immunity levels are coming down day by day, and they are not getting proper medication. So multiple angles, and health related, education related, and discrimination, isolation related aspects we would be able to understand when we start with establishing rapport with various stakeholders in the community, and use appropriate techniques when we are working with different kind of population that belongs to vulnerable sections. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Dr. Shahu?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, do you want to share something?
No, that's okay. I think it leads to the discussion, and I think the participant should be asking the questions rather than you, me, and him getting into a dialogue.
Now I request the participant, please, if you have any question, please, either you can chat it in the chat box, or directly you can ask.
Thank you, sir. It's a good presentation. You have discussed about regarding PRA and various method of PRA, like seasonal mapping, resource mapping, so many things. I want to know about the transit work when we are doing PRA, like when we are doing like social mapping, resource mapping. That time we have to do, or when we have to do the transit work.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you
Madam,
please introduce yourself, sir? Can you please
Yeah.
introduce yourself? Yes.
Good evening. I am Silida Rai, working in a skill development sector in Bangalore, FETRS.
Okay. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, actually, thank you very much for asking this question. Transit walk is one of the techniques of PRA, and we don't mix it with any other tools, but we will be doing it alone, and it will be a kind of aspect of connecting with the people while observing what are all the resources, assets, and what kind of people are there, and what is the lifestyle, and what kind of other facilities. When I have given the presentation, I also told you can observe how the time they are productively spending, what kind of interactions are happening. Some villages will have small trees. Under the tree, some 6, 7, 8, 10 people sit together and chit chat, and what kind of conversations that are happening. People are having harmonious relationship or some other thing. Any other families, neighborhood relationship, and all these things. Slowly you can walk and understand. This is all transact walk. So it's not connected with social mapping. And social mapping and resource mapping, you will be bringing a group of people to a common place, and you will be asking them what are all the resources available in your village, and what are all the assets available in your village. They will have to map it, and they have to do with their own hand what is the distance between the school building and hospital, and what is the distance between the temple and the school. And these are the things that they will be able to tell us, and we will be understanding. That's why listening than lecturing in PRA.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think you got your answer, ma'am. Miss Silly Dalai.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
With us, Dr. Simanchal Ranjit, sir. Dr. Simanchal Ranjit is currently working as lawyer in Odisha High Court, Government of Odisha.
Okay, okay. I'm slow, glad to interact with you.
Sir, do you want to ask anything or contribute anything?
Yeah, Pradeep, thank you very much. And then I missed actually presentation by Dr. Rambabu. And then thank you for your presentation. Actually, the last part of your presentations, I was part of it and I could learn, but somehow I got the idea that how the research techniques of participatory rural appraisal or participatory rapid appraisal is being used by the researcher or the data collector or the development worker while understanding or making assessment of the project area. I think it's part of the four, Ms. Havamam can say that project cycle management, that you have the assessment and then you have the design, and thereafter you go for the project implementation, then you in between you are having the monitoring, and then therefore thereafter you are going for the transition and evaluation and all. These PRA techniques of participatory rural appraisal or rapid appraisal, 70s, 80s, this methodology have been developed, these research techniques by some international workers, development workers. So that's fine. Thereafter, very lately, actually, we have utilized in our country, and very traditional method that on the top level, upper level only the planning was being done, and then the people decided in their condition room, whatever the policies were formulated that were going to the villages or to the people. Although Panchayat Raj was there in our country, but that also was somehow it is improving. But these are techniques which actually used. But I have few clarification since you are all associated with this field. What Ms. Silly was asking about whether the transact work should be done before the social mapping or resource mapping, or after when the time period for the transact work actually. It was very important question. And then actually I have some experiences of working in Bihar for around 3-4 years. When I was a project manager, I have gone through entire project cycle, starting from your assessment to your monitoring, then the last part is giving donor, bringing them to go through all those things. So it is my experience that actually we do the transact work in the beginning itself. When we enter into the village, this is my experience. And then I may be wrong, but because already Dr. Rambabu has already responded to that. But what we got when we make the transact work in the beginning itself, what it happens, people go with the researcher or the person who is leading, the technique who is implementing that, and entire villages, they go with the techniques and they locate where are the resources and how the village is there. For example, sometimes we found a desert place in Bihar. I was working in near Bodh Gaya. We made the transact work with the youth group. As Dr. Rambabu was explaining, you can have different groups in the discussion. So first, we experimented going with women, making transact work with women, making transact work with the elder persons, children, and youth. So they have their own interest, and accordingly they locate the resources in the village, and they understand. The difference between the women and the youth we found is, youth when walk with them, sir, this is a desert plate. We are thinking that we can have a field here, playground here. So immediately we located that where it is located. And so when group wise and then different beneficiaries or the target groups in the village, when we make the transact work, and after that we assemble in a place under a tree or where the place is, then people they know that, sir, here the temple is, here the place is, and then here I think the transact work helps for preparing social mapping and then resource mapping. So this is what my experience was. When you make the transact work in the beginning along with the people, then you are able to understand the entire village, because you do not know anything about that village. You are an illiterate. for that village, and then people know where it is and what is the resources, how they are living, where what is there, which tree is there, where the temple is, which the vacant place, where the pond is, the dried pond is there, where we can have some water and we can make fishery. All those things that people they know. So maybe the transact walk, it helped us, in fact, preparing. Otherwise, we like outsider, we go with suit boot and then enter in the village. Oh, kya kar rahe? Ye kar rahe? Aap idhar? Oh, I know everything. Actually, it is a learning process. These are all the techniques are to learn. It is not to teach them. You have to learn what is happening in the village. So this was my one thing. But another thing, just very quickly, I will be just put your perspective on that, is the concept of SSG. In Odisha, what happens, what you are saying, it is self-help. It is no more self-help. What happened, it has become a kind of a bondages. For example, the purpose behind self-help was got to empower them. Now what happens, these groups have become solely dependent upon the government financing. What happened, the government policy has made such a very bad policy. I'm very critical of this. What happens, it gives loan, a free loan. Okay, no, without any interest, it gives loan. Going on giving loan and loan after loan, that means the women are not free from the bondages of loan. They are not self-help, in fact. They are put in a kind of pressure kind of situation that if they kind of, what happens in 90s in Odisha, what is to happen, there was to be Ma Sangha, I mean the mothers group. If they were entering into any wine shop or anything, they were just more powerful those times. But now what happens, they are being, controlled by the system. And also this way, the concept of self-help and then the how to understand actually the community problems has become a little bit critical. Do you think this rapid appraisal will be, or participatory appraisal will be giving us the, true information that is on the basis of which we can make a planning or design a project proposal for implementation? Pradeep?
Over to you, sir. Dr. Rambabu, yes.
I completely agree with Dr. Ranjit, and I am so happy with kind of a fruitful discussion after the session that is taking place. And yes, when we talk about these self-help groups and the functioning of self-help groups vary from state to state, and different states are having a different kind of experiences, and majority of the points are also experienced by other states and the members of self-help groups. So that is one thing I would like to say. And when we talk about this PRA techniques and application of PRA techniques, it is more than giving to the community, learning from the community and understanding the community and assessing the needs of the community. If we can understand that basic concept from Dr. Ranjit, what he has mentioned, we shall be able to implement it properly, and we shall also be able to contribute for the community. It is connecting with the community, contributing for the community, and enhancing the competencies of comprehending the community. That is what I would like to say. Thank you very much, Dr. Ranjit, for complimenting.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually,
just a second, one sentence. This transact work should not be one time. Very important. One important tool. One of the important techniques of your PRA. That transact work should not be one time. If they forgot in the between, again they have to walk around the village. Again walk around to the place. Whether they got it, for example, 10 people they are going, 10 people should have 10 different ideas about what is to be existing in the village. So this will help for both your social mapping as well as resource mapping. So transact work should be continuously done. As much as you roam around the villages and the areas, you will be better able to understand. This is one of the important things. And prior to that, I think Dr. Rambabu, I was very much interested in this community organization. I was involved in for 3-4 years. Actually, before that, very important thing is your village history, right? One of the technique is that the village history is there. How they descended, how they came, how you storytelling and bring entire situation. It's very interesting. Community development, community organization. These are very interesting. If some students are participating and some practitioner like Srilli Dalai Imam, who is skill development working this thing, I think these techniques should be extensively utilized, implemented before you make any planning. Then only you will be properly able to make the plan for the people. Otherwise, I don't think it will be top-down approach, which is again not going to solve the problem.
Thank
True,
you so
yes.
much, sir. Actually, there are a few questions also in the chat box. Before that, actually, I welcome Mr. Gauri Shankar Misra. For your information, sir, Mr. Gauri Shankar Misra is currently serving as the president of Odisha Professional Social Workers Association. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Pradeep.
One question from Hruday Vallabha. What will be the next step for a social worker if he finds imbalance in a resource distribution in a village? This question is asked by Hruday Vallabha Pradhan.
Good evening, sir. Sir, may I ask this? Sir, I am Hruday Vallabh, MSW second year student from NIS. Sir, during presentation, you told that in a village during PRE, you found that 90% of the land was acquired by only 10% of the people, and 90% of the population were working as their laborer. Sir, it is not the problem of that particular village. It may be the problem of the whole India, because as per the Oxfam report, only 5% people of India acquire 60% wealth of our country. Sir, as a social worker, what will be our step to balance this village situation or our upcoming India situation?
Okay. we should again launch Budhan movement. Nanaji Deshmukh we should land. Yeah. This disequilibrium is there across the country, and now the people belongs to this marginalized and disadvantaged sections are remained the same, and the most of the and majority of the properties and assets are still lying with this so-called classes, and that is there. And yes, how as social workers, what we can do, we can only bring to the notice of the governments, or the governments, if political parties and the ruling governments are committed. And now very recently what happened in the state of Telangana, the Chief Minister of Telangana told that for all these Adivasis and Dalits, we want to distribute 3 acres of land minimum to each family. So what will happen? Those 3 acres of land will try to empower these marginalized sections, and also some kind of security and some kind of empowerment and some kind of confidence that can be built among those people, and who are all processing this the assets and the property in all these 80% or 90% of the people. There should be some mechanism to distribute that particular land, so that the inequality can be minimized, not completely reduced. This is what is my opinion. And social workers should involve in advocacy. There are so many eminent people in social work profession. There are members of parliament. There are playing a prominent role in different political parties. And we are still striving to bring the National Council for Social Work Education and Training in our country, which is not becoming reality. And there are national level associations, and we are affiliating with international organizations like IFSW and International Association of Schools of Social Work. And we have India Network of Professional Social Workers, which consists of ISPSW, NAPSV, and ASV, and all these things. And yes, definitely there is a role to be played by professional social workers, and that should be worked out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope Hruday, you got your answer. I request other participant, please ask your question.
Pradeep, if somebody comes in.
Yes, sir. Professor, with us, Professor Asutosh Pradhan. There is no need of introducing Professor Asutosh Pradhan, because I request Professor Pradhan to. Yes, sir. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar, Professor Asutosh ji.
Namaskar. Samasama namaskar. I have a very basic question, in the sense that in 1996 to 1999, I was working in an NGO in Bhubaneswar, and we used to work in some of the remotest parts of Odisha. In 1996, the movement of PRA, it gained a lot of credence and a lot of NGOs, even funding agencies, training agencies, CAPART for that matter, they promoted PRA and they ensured that PRA was the in thing and it was used for research purposes, for identification of needs, issues and problems that people in the villages were facing, so on and so forth. All of you are aware that PRA actually is an exercise in empowering people. And more they are involved in this approach, any sort of participatory approach, it is meant to empower people because it's an educating process. And people themselves will come to know about so many things which they did not know or were not very much conscious about, or they did not think about it that these are the issues that we need to work on, or these are the problems which we can ourselves solve, because there are a lot of resources within the community and beyond. So it wasn't considered to be a very empowering profession, empowering thing. There is a difference. Somebody made a reference to Oxfam and also some other funding agency. See, when you are representing a funding agency and if that funding agency is directly involved in the designing and execution and implementation of programs and projects, well, fine. If you use PRA, it's fine because it is said to be a bottom-up approach where you are involving people in the designing of programs and projects and intervention programs in specifically speaking. But if it's a grassroots NGO, they get trained somewhere. Some personnel is there in the organization who got trained, let us say, in some workshop conducted by CAPART or some other. CAPART doesn't exist anymore, or some other funding agency or international organization who then were organizing a lot of workshops on PRA. And if this NGO, which is dependent on some other funding agency, if they take up PRA exercises, because it's very interesting. So if they start undertaking PRA exercises in the community, what I felt was that people become so much excited about this entire process because it is empowering. So people get a booster dose. And later on, if that particular organization, if it is not able to mobilize funds and resources, then it creates a lot of frustration. And it becomes a very scary affair for the NGO because they will have to face the brunt of the frustration of the villagers. So I personally felt in my early days as a teacher and also as a practitioner while working with the NGO, that we need to be also very cautious when we are using any participatory method or participatory approaches. It is good in principle. It should be used. But until and unless you know about your own strengths and the position where you are, whether you are able to mobilize resources, yes, it would be very nice if there is a backing of the funding organization, if there is no restriction about budget, then fine, if there is an assurance. Of course, if there is an assurance, you can go ahead. But otherwise speaking, if you are thinking of simply doing it for the sake of a normal business, then I think it would be a very risky affair. I'm not sure what is the NGO sector like nowadays. Gauri Bhai is there who can throw more light whether PRA continues to be a hot cake in the scheme of things of NGOs. I'm not sure. Even Rambabu, you can also throw light on this. A lot of other people may be there, practitioners may be there who can also supplement. and clarify the doubt that I have.
Sir,
Over to you.
Yes, I agree with your point, sir. And yes, we are teachers and there are practitioners who are continuously practicing and experiencing. And we got the opportunity to practice PRA in the very recent, some 3-4 months ago, in one of the nearby villages in the state of Tamil Nadu. And as you mentioned, it is a empowering process and involving the people and connecting with the people and comprehending the people through the PRA techniques and application of PRA. Yeah, of course. So we shall definitely we will be able to know and understand the needs and problems, resources, and the root causes of various problems. Openly, we will be able to collect the information, and they come forward and they own these applications such as social mapping, resource mapping, and also transact walks. When we involve and mobilize people to conduct this PRA process. This is what is my opinion. Over to you.
I request Gauri sir, can you supplement, or can you add something to, since you have 40 years of experience, I know, in the field, and you also worked in different interior areas, you have vast knowledge about Odisha and particularly the people living with oppression, depression, deprivation. So what is your experience and knowledge about this PRA and community?
Pradeep, thank you very much. I really worried because the time is already over. People must be worried about the timing and all that. But just I will briefly add certain few what you call my experiences, what I have seen PRA, what you call when we are in our middle age. Now almost what you call in 2000 we are using PRA. When I was in DFID. See, this is what you call PRA is not an absolute thing. It is a process. So, and second thing, it is a learning tool, and it has its own ethics, something which we have to practice. That means again, people have to be agree on that. And whatever you get that one, see, that is because society is changing, and what learning we got or what information we have collected, see, that needs to change according to the change of the society, because the information should be dynamic. It is not a static one, because you must have seen, see, PRA when in its peak, we have also used another tool from PRA, like that branch. You must be aware that CLTS, community-led total sanitation, which is actually it is a other version of PRA, something which go to community and see, like what Ranjit said. I also agree with that, because in DFID, we have implemented CLTS almost 120 villages. That means we have spent almost what you call around 5-6 crore with 6 big organizations. But we achieved only PRA got successful and we got the result in 6 villages only. See, that you can imagine. That means, again, the dynamic nature has to be understood properly. And the what you call now, whatever villages were there, the attributes, if you see village attributes 20 years or 30 years back, now that is changed, because now almost, see, village become an urban kind of place. So when you go with that kind of old attributes, then it will be difficult, because the power structure changes, the what you call the sharing things, village sharing process changes, village common property processes changes, village distribution, what Dr. Rambabu said, the property holding and all that, see, that is changing. So that is where I have seen, because I have also implemented PRA in Red Cross, in DFID, in Danida, in everywhere we have village, wherever we have worked. But the proper understanding, like it has become whatever Robert Chamber, which that time he has developed, see, that tools become same tools. We should develop new tools looking to the change of the society, then only it will be useful. Otherwise, again, it will be a dead tool kind of thing. Something to make it live, it should be dynamic, and it should be process oriented, and it should be taken as a learning tool. And then if you are going for an implementing tool from learning whatever information you have collected, then now with this situation, see, a lot of ethical issues comes. Financing comes, funding comes, decision making comes, all that. See, that process has to be understood properly by the implementer rather than what you call the beneficiary. That's all. We can discuss more further on that. And thank you very much, Dr. Rambabu. Very good. And Dr.
Rambabu, I agree with your valuable points.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, there are another two questions. Quickly, actually, I request Dr. Simanchal Ranjit, sir. Sir, quickly in 1 or 2 minutes, you add whatever you want to. And after that, Ms. Abha Misra ma'am is also in the queue to. Because Dr. Rambabu has some other assignment, he has to quit. So immediately we have to finish this lecture. Sir, quickly over to you, sir. In 1 or 2 minutes, you.
Not 2 minutes, only 30 seconds I'll take. This is to address. I'm interested by Rudanand Pradhan's question, and he's a student social worker. One thing I want to put is in his study is about the question of the landlessness, and the 90% people are having land in the areas. I mean, in India, in fact, this is a concept of feudalism. And then we are a democratic country. So in communism, you can distribute all those things, but in democratic setup, it cannot be done like that. Although Telangana giving 3 acres of land distribution is going on. How the PRA tool will help in this case, because I was working with this kind of situation I have faced in Bihar. There is a Bhumiyar community. Those who are the landlords there. 95% people there, they will be having land, and there is a Musahar community, the lowest. What Nitish Kumar says about the Mahadalit, Dalit, Mahadalit, the concepts are there. So the 90%, what in our studies in this implementation PRA, we found that the 10% they are the agricultural laborers, and then agricultural laborers, there's some land because of Bhudan and all these things, they have got something. What happens? You can in a democratic country, we cannot go for the equal distribution of land. Since Ruda is a student social worker, my humble submission is that we can make through that PRA tools only. We can find out what is their desire, what they want to do. So accordingly, during design time, we constituted a livelihood groups, and from there, certain people, the youth, we send for some training programs. The agricultural lands, those who are having some land, multi-cropping, we help them out. Relating to this MGNRF programs, also we help them to implement all these areas so that their income could be grown up. What Dr. Ram said, that advocacy is one part, but immediately when you find out this kind of challenging situation, that when 90% people will be having the land, the 10% won't be having, such as a huge inequality as far as the land resources are concerned. But present days, there are alternative livelihood measures by which I think those people, 90%, 10% for whom you will be working, the poor, rest of the poor, I think they will be helped out through this. Just 1 minute is that even the 90% people, they are not doing agricultural activity. They are doing sharecropping. So sharecropping, what happens? Whatever they get it, they are not doing, the landlords will be not cultivating, only the laborers will be cultivating, and then they share the things. So in this way, the alternative livelihood mechanisms could be introduced to those areas, and that could be generated or could be learned from the PRA exercises. Ruda, this is my special address to you.
Thank you so much, sir. I request Abha ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, I just had one comment to everyone. Sometimes PRA tool is used to support the project which we are doing, which we are envisaging to do. But PRA tool can also be used for planning purposes. And from the very beginning, I think it is very important to work with the community and tell them that what could be done and what could not be done, because there is always an issue of funding gaps. So please remember that any type of research work or any type of data generating activities we are doing as social workers, we have to be very, very clear in saying we are doing it for this purpose, which may come or may not come. Please do not give any false hopes, because once you give false hopes, you will face the problems which you were discussing. That's all what I wanted to say. Thank you so much.
True. Thank you one and all for joining me, and also for the warm welcome, starting with Professor Asutosh and Dr. Pradeep Shahu and Abha Madam, Gauri Shankar sir, and also Dr. Ranjit, and all other participants for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. And also it's a kind of a also learning from everybody, the experts in the field about PRA techniques and its application. And Dr. Pradeep, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interact with each and every one of you. My pranam to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Actually, Asutosh sir, actually, Dr. Rambabu has some other assignment, so we cannot stress this discussion further since he is busy with some other work. I sincerely thank Dr. Rambabu.
I'll take only 10 seconds. I'll take only 10 seconds. See,
okay, sir, this will be the last. Yes, this will be
10
the
seconds,
last.
not more than that. Hruday raised a very important question. Hruday raised a very important issue, but we need to realize that land is not the only asset. Knowledge can be an asset. Skill sets could be assets. So we need to draw our attention to other things than land. Thank you.
Okay,
Professor Pradhan, you can speak little. Dr. Rambabu,
thank you so much, sir. This is plus. Professor
actually,
Rambabu,
we
sir, thank you.
Conclude this session here since our speaker is busy. Yes, I am sorry to say, actually, we cannot extend this discussion any further. Thank you, Dr. Rambabu, for your nice presentation, and I sincerely thank Ms. Abha Mishra, Mr. Gauri Shankar Mishra sir, Professor Asutosh Pradhan, Dr. Simanchal Ranjit, and other participants to make this discussion vibrant and really this lecture series is becoming more and more interesting and interactive day by day. So thank you so much for all your kind participation, and I thank all the participants for their consistent support and presence in the series, since it is the 14th series, but we are now getting consistent support from the participants, and the lecture series is really going well. Thank you all, and we will again meet in the next Saturday at 6:30. Good night.
Thank you one and all.
Thank you so much, sir. And today is a very great session, all for us.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you.
Kuldeep Ramji, sorry, actually speaker is speaker has other assignments, so he cannot spare time.
Okay, sir. Today is a very great session for me, sir, because this is a
leave now. Yes. If you want, you can leave now. But if you want to share anything, Kuldeep Ram, you can share.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
See, let Dr. Rambabu leave so that we can discuss further.
Thank you very much.
You can leave.
With all your permission, I am leaving.
Thank you so much.
Asutosh sir, thank you very much. Pradeep ji and Gauri Shankar sir.